My name's Andy Williamson. I work for Shepherd Offshore Limited, so I'm Group Business Development Director.
Okay, great. And what do you see as the major challenges facing the offshore wind industry, and in particular your own company?
Well, offshore wind has to be cost competitive ultimately. The cost of energy needs to come down if it's going to be a fundamental part of the energy mix. And the industry needs certainty for long-term project financing, strong policy regimes. From our perspective as an offshore services provider of infrastructure and supporting big mobilisations, we need more facilities on a large scale to support construction and development of projects offshore.
Okay, and what are the possible major technical innovations that could impact on the offshore wind sector over the near future and the longer term?
Well, we need more, turbines coming through with greater availability, less downtime, integrity that can withstand conditions in deep water. So, we have to prove out a lot of technology, which of course will encourage project finance and get the banks interested that this is a serious business.
So within what time frame do you expect offshore wind to become a commercially viable industry?
Depending on where you are in the supply chain, right now it's commercially viable if you're making money like anything else, but as soon as we get more certainty around the ability to build projects out cost effectively with the right infrastructure, then that's going to stimulate greater levels of investment, and it'll come, but it's probably 2 or 3 years away.
And do you think that the government initiatives are sufficient, or do you think that they could do more to support the industry?
The government have created a very attractive regulatory regime with the ROCs for offshore, giving the investors a degree of certainty. The last thing they should do is start putting that under review and have the industry lose confidence around the longevity of that process. From our perspective in the supply chain, the UK government needs to look at supporting the private sector like ourselves, who are investing our own money effectively in infrastructure to support inward investment and offshore operations. So this is a high growth sector, big economic development opportunity for the UK, and we need more support.
And how do you rate the supporting infrastructure within the UK and Europe or the US?
The UK is good at doing offshore projects. We've got extensive expertise. We had a rich manufacturing heritage. In terms of the North Sea, we're good at operating in that environment. But we're not used to handling wind energy products. We're starting to get a lot more experience in that field, but I think we've got a good chance. Geographically we're well placed, but we need the facilities and the people to support it.
So which individual countries do you think possess the best infrastructure and levels of innovation?
Well, obviously mainland Europe's been the epicenter for wind, and they've nurtured and made it their own, and they've now moved into offshore in a big way. If you speak comparatively about our operations in Germany, Denmark, the Netherlands, they're mobilizing big areas of land. They're making federal state decisions to invest in infrastructure to attract investment, and the UK hasn't quite got there yet. We've got a series of landowners all battling it out to attract investment and make this wind industry happen. It's got to be a lot more strategic on a national level. It needs an Olympic style push.
So what are your own organisation's key aims, objectives and ambitions even within the offshore wind sector?
Well, our expertise is in offshore, in the offshore supply side. So we're a private landowner. We have big areas of land. We're investing in old shipyards to create the conditions for offshore wind manufacturing, O&M and supply. We've been very successful with oil and gas and subsea in doing that, creating a lot of jobs and doing well commercially. We've started that process, obviously, building Clipper's blade factory. We'll keep investing to try and attract the offshore wind industry in and support them longer term, and our aim is quite clear. We're in it to create investment in the area, in the local area, help the UK realise its targets and make money.
What are likely to be key developments in the offshore wind industry developing over the next 5, 10 and even 20 years?
How projects are being built out and delivered, contractual methodologies, shifting of risk like oil and gas. We're still learning, we're still bedding down, so as projects develop, they're key developments in themselves, because that's how the industry starts to mature and understand what it needs to do.
The offshore wind sector poses unique challenges compared with its onshore counterparts. To what extent can the experience of the onshore industry be exploited to support offshore development?
There's a degree of understanding technology first and foremost. You have to understand how wind technology works. But of course the big gap is onshore is very, very different to offshore, and whilst there's a lot to be learned for understanding onshore wind, taking turbines offshore is a completely different ball game.
To what extent could the following issues affect the deployment deadlines for the offshore wind industry? Supply chain infrastructure and grid connection, skill shortages, operation and maintenance. And are any of them, in your opinion, particularly crucial, whether for your own organisation or for the sector as a whole?
Yeah, I think particularly if we're going to energise and deliver significant gigawatt capacity of renewables wherever it is, then grid infrastructure is critical. There's a shortfall in terms of financing the offshore grid, and then onshore infrastructure to support that. So this is a big part of the enabling investment required before we start putting turbines in. That's critical. Planning's critical. Obviously we have to have a pretty seamless planning regime, which allows, again, the investment community to get confidence that things are going to get built out. And then off the back of that, we need the engineering solutions to crack getting into deep water.
So just in a summary, what are the major elements of your company's involvement in the offshore wind industry?
Well, we invest in infrastructure to support manufacturing, logistics and offshore operations. That investment in infrastructure and facilities is going to mitigate some of the risk for the offshore industry, and hopefully, like with oil and gas and subsea, start to bring costs down, because construction costs and operational costs have to come down. So the more infrastructure we put in port side, and the more effective ways we find of building projects out, supporting those projects, the more cost competitive offshore wind will become as a big part of the energy mix.